All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Legend of the Galactic Heroes, episode 93. Let's rest in peace. You died a legend.
Yep.
So did you, Meinhof, I believe that was his name. Yeah. Way to go.
Yeah, way to go, buddy.
But now, Reinhard has escaped.
And has disappeared.
The Brunhild is in the blackness of space.
No one's going to find it.
Nope. Okay.
Unless it wants to be found.
Right.
The really tricky thing about this, though, is there's going to be this uncertain period of time. It depends on how quickly the Brunhild can get back to safe space.
Yep.
Or based on just what Reinhard decides to do with regards to either sending forth smaller ships to give, like, literal communication, not, like, transmitted communication that could be traced or intercepted. There's some really strange and scary places that the Empire could be headed towards.
Right. Mittermeier, Oberstein, Mariendorf,
Reuental. Like,
well, yeah, but like, Reuental's on the other side right now.
No, but yeah. He's not yet. Like,
no, or other side of the galaxy.
I know, but he's. It's very important.
No, I know.
He does next,
right? Because he did not orchestrate this attack.
Nope.
So how is he going to respond? Oh boy!
Yeah, once he even finds out that, this is a thing that's
is a big deal.
Setting up for war.
Like, oh yeah. Well, at least now you know that there are definitely people behind all of this that are interested in that happening. So maybe then they can be searched for and dealt with.
The freaky thing is, let's say Reuental. Oh man. Let's just start the episode. Yeah. Y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Jeez.
Whoa. Okay.
The inevitability.
Yep. I gotta say, this is something that, I feel like this is where the show really sticks the landing, basically, because with the idea of what the show's about, right? Yeah. You know, in every age and every place, the deeds of men remain the same, right? It started with that Ouroboros with Yang and Reinhard. This is where we basically see it's not going to necessarily, from what we can tell, have a happy ending.
It could.
And it could. But this is a hard step in the other direction.
Yeah, in the way that we can look at this as like the iterations of humanity trying to learn from its past mistakes. This is an area where now the line across this chasm has gotten narrower. There are a lot of ways humanity could fall off into an abyss and lose another like few hundred years to chaos, war, and madness.
And given that this is all based on the character decision of an individual, it is very important that we are sold on it. And boy, did they sell us on it. It breaks my heart. I wish it didn't go this way. Yeah. And I love that they made it so that there was chance that Reuental wouldn't decide this, right? Like there was
felt it.
You really felt it. Yep. Because if we didn't feel it, right? If we didn't sympathize with Reuental, if we didn't believe that he might choose something different, then it would just be like, well, shit, okay, all right, fine. You know, we wouldn't be as invested in what happens next, right?
Right.
But we care about both sides of the conflict immensely. So here we go. And the thing that I despise so much about this is that
Lang wins.
Lang wins, and that's the one thing where I feel like maybe, in the name of pride, Reuental forgot that Lang has been after you in multiple different ways.
I think he very clearly understood who would be standing between him and his Mein Kaiser.
Right.
And he basically said, "No, fuck Lang. I will kill him personally. I will stage this revolution to the point that I walk down towards the throne itself, and I have Lang dragged there, beaten and bloodied, and I order his execution.
Sure, and after maybe some torture.
He's cast from a high, spot.
Yep. Tomato paste,
Yeah, exactly. The idea that he basically said, it's not that Lang beat me. It's that Lang basically forced me to basically hold the galaxy in my hands and decide what I want to do with it.
Right.
And that's okay. Because in some ways, he's had this decision before.
Yep.
Like, come to him and be like, do you want to try and take it? Do you want to try? Do you?
Yep.
Because in some ways, he wants to and he doesn't, because he very, very much wants to figure out how he can just live in this crazy mad world.
Right, and truly live, since the regular,
life.
The regular
was
life
stolen from him.
It was stolen from him, and he doesn't really consider that living, I don't think.
He doesn't want to pass on some, or he didn't at the very least, want to pass on some great legacy and have some grand bloodline or anything. If anything, he just wanted to prove that he was worthy of life.
Yep. The flashbacks and all of that stuff and the context and everything that we got here, in addition to Reuenthal's inner thoughts, was beautiful. It was incredible. I loved it. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it was sad.
Yep. Yeah, it was sad.
It was sad.
And the fact that with all of that, he still makes the decision in the name of pride, right? And taking into full account what he's giving up, right? This, his father's words basically did take sway over him, right? And it breaks my heart. When he said, bring Trunit before me, I was actually optimistic. I was like, oh shit, awesome. Yeah, he's realizing that there is another force behind this, and he's going to then try and attack that force, right?
Right.
Rather than dealing with what he does with regards to Reinhard and the Empire and things like that. That decision could be done at a later date, regardless of whether he betrays Reinhard or not. He doesn't want to have, termites in his building, right? That's something he's got to get rid of. But no, he's actually taking it a different angle, and it's a brilliant angle of the
person you're most valuable to is not to me.
Yep.
He's like, I just want to understand. This is who you are, right?
Yep.
And he's like, yes, that's exactly who I am. And he's like, really?
Yeah.
He's just like, really? And he's like, no, that's a joke. I just care about myself.
And he's like, okay.
I'm actually just a weasel. There's no grand
Right.
anything like that. He's like, oh, okay, get him out of my sight.
Right.
This rat somehow seems to speak something like the language of man, but no,
But it's not.
But it's not. It's a rat. Yeah, exactly.
Reuental has a thing for eloquence, and
Reuental and Mittermeier.
Yep.
Mittermeier's thing of, are you the one that seems to believe that it's time for snow in summer?
Right.
Did this hogwash not wash itself away in the spring's, thaw?
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, Mittermeier!
Yeah, I know. This is why space opera was one of the reasons I love space opera, right? Because usually in stories and things like that, if you were to ever have that kind of dialogue, it wouldn't work.
No.
It just wouldn't work. It'd feel stale and Shakespearean or whatever.
Well, that's what it is.
Well, that's what it is. But it owns the Shakespearean and sort of returns to that, but in a new way that then it becomes a benefit rather than something that pulls you out of the story.
But the reason why it has power is not because of the dialogue itself.
Right. It's because
it's a combination of the way it's delivered as well.
Yes, exactly. And the characters truly mean that. And
and also, this is not the first time we've met Mittermeier.
No.
We know who Mittermeier is.
Exactly.
So seeing him say this, we understand what kind of emotions brought him up to this place. In the same way that we see that with Reuental. So this was an episode that, like you said, made us be completely sold on the idea that Reuental is rebelling. He is not going back on this.
There's still this part of me that is holding out hope.
He is not going to seek for some, alternate solution to this. If it's presented to him in a very, 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 very lucrative or, I would say, just generous way, possibly. I would say that there's a very decent likelihood that then, and only then, IFF, if and only if, then maybe he would. But that conversation with Bergengruen where he's like,
you're loyal to the Kaiser.
If you
tell me now.
You take your gun, shoot me. He's like, I'm bare chest right here. Just do it.
Right. And I gotta say, I love Bergengruen's response, and then it also just breaks my heart even more because he's saying, no, I'm not giving up, right? Yeah. We're gonna go to the Kaiser, unarmed, and we're going to explain what happened and and things like that.
Yeah.
And given that Reuental still decided this, what's Bergengruen gonna do? Because I don't want him to die. I don't want him to kill Reuental either. No. In a lot of ways, the thing that Reuental said to Trunit almost felt like a potential projection of something that he could do.
Which was?
Be the villain for everybody, so that way it strengthens the core, because the foundation because it gives them something to rally against,
Sure.
and then become a martyr.
Yeah, that's why he was seeing, is that who you were?
Right.
And he's like, of course, you've deduced my intentions. And he's just like, the fuck? Like,
right.
Like, I didn't think you'd... One, I didn't believe it at all. But two, the way you said that with conviction,
right.
I believed you for a second.
He's such a rat, he can tell any kind of bold-faced lie,
and
including
it's somewhat
something
believable.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's the I'm a 400-foot tall platypus bear with pink horns and silver wings, that whole thing,
Yeah, and he's... Yeah. And he's practiced.
Right. But Reuental, that meant there might have been a possibility that Reuental was considering that when he said to Bergengruen, then kill me now, because that could have solved everything.
That could have solved everything. It's the same way as which Meinhof in the previous episode killed the others, saving Reinhard and being basically the villain in that he's the assassin that turned and became, well, a hero.
Yeah,
in that moment.
Or what's his name? The guy that took the deserters away from Julian and Iserlohn and all that.
Oh, Murai.
Murai, yeah. Like Ruental could have had that.
Actually, it's interesting. I've always compared Murai and Reuental to each other in
they have a similar chiseled jaw.
In a very like interestingly weird kind of logic that they have, and yet they're also like weirdly zealous at times. Like,
oh sure,
yeah. So anyway, okay, Mittermeier understands,
even though it doesn't.
Reinhard has
understands.
Resolved and also probably understands.
Yeah, because I think the thing that they said about the 3 weeks in the ship plus the news of Lutz's death.
Yeah,
it's I'm sure there's some part of him that's pissed at the situation, right? And that Lutz had to die, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's also the idea that he's like, shit, given the fact that Lutz is dead, then Reuental will feel backed into a corner because, like, even if I were to grant him amnesty and be like, no, I understand.
Or
then
just summon him.
Right, exactly. That would seem very unfair to the populace who doesn't necessarily know Reuental. Why is Reinhard giving this guy special treatment when clearly he's a bad dude, Like, how order would just be thrown out the window.
And let's remember who Reinhard is. You think he doesn't somewhere deep down want this?
Yeah,
This is Alexander the Great.
Wept for there were no more worlds to conquer.
You think he would turn down the opportunity to face probably the only other tactical, brilliant genius out there? Other than maybe Mittermeier, maybe Oberstein. Like,
it's something like where
Reuental is in some ways just an older, slightly slower, slightly more caught up in the past version of Reinhard.
Yep, and the thing is that totally, and at the same time, Reinhard was also having the whole thing of maybe I've lost my taste for war, right? Maybe peace is something that I can be interested in, right?
Yeah, that's why I think in some ways Reuental isn't going to go out in the strategic sense like immediately.
Oh no, especially not if he gets through Iserlohn.
It's going to potentially forever schism, not forever, but like for a long period of time schism the galaxy again.
Right. That decision just cost 100 years,
Right, exactly. And then it's just the question of what comes out of that.
Right. And given the fact that this whole situation we're in only really happened because Yang and Reinhard were both born in the same era. Like 100 years, great. Yeah, it takes 100 years for the immediate ramifications of this to cool off. But that doesn't mean that like there will be another chance to, like have galactic peace or whatever, right? Like
very true.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Now,
Julian. Julian's in a really cool situation.
I was just thinking of Julian. Yeah. Because now Reuental has passed the buck.
Yep. He basically said, hey, I will give you an offer you can't refuse.
Right.
You really cannot refuse this offer.
And the thing is
that Julian might.
Like,
yeah, that's the thing.
And that is one of those things where I can only imagine, because Julian's a new leader, he's young, he's inexperienced, all that stuff. The conversations that he would wish he could have with Yang for advice on this particular situation, because Yang has brought up the idea that, maybe fighting against Reinhard isn't necessarily like something that we need to do because, we're defending a decrepit democracy anyways, right? That's rotten and nasty and all that stuff. And who knows, like, because war is pretty awful. Like,
yeah, what's going to happen, I think, is that Julian's going to either say, absolutely, and then get another offer, like, a week later from Reinhard of, let us pass through.
Yep.
And we'll give you the alliance thing. And it'd be like, well, we're already under an offer like that from Ruental.
Yeah.
So like, what can you offer that's more than that?
He could make political requests.
Yes.
Like, not territory, but
exactly.
No. Just make some changes into your empire and we will, Constitution.
Let me see. Yeah, exactly. You'd be like, no. I don't care about ruling territory or owning territory, things like that. If anything, I would like the future of human society. If you reunite the galaxy, we're going to have a seat at the table.
Sure.
And we're not going to be based on some, representation of the, the population numbers and stuff like that. All peoples, like, going to be brought to the table. Not just us, not just you.
Right. Like there are things that Julian can do here.
Yeah, exactly. And the idea that it might get that bad, that's what's needed for Reinhard in order to win.
Yep.
Is that they're gonna do this. Everything's gonna cycle all the way back, and instead of needing to sneak through Fejon, it's going to be
because in some ways Fejon is going to be even more impregnable. They've been putting up crazy defenses.
Fejon, they said specifically that they're designing new not Iserlons, but mini fortresses that are kind of like that on both sides of Fejon.
Right, and then I think they were also doing that on the Iserlon corridor to just keep Iserlon Fortress relegated to that space. I can't remember.
No.
Oh,
it's not that, because that's the thing. Odin is no longer the capital. They were doing it on both sides of the Fejon corridor.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because then they need to make sure that they keep that choke point for the whole galaxy. Yeah. And the body for the wings.
The foresight of that.
I
think the narrator even mentioned it when the fortresses were being done, and I was just like thinking in my head, so Reuental is definitely going to rebel at some point. It's just it might be a while from now.
To be fair, it would have been kind of weird if Reinhard made that whole statement of, betray me, at some point if you think you can do it, right? If Reuental never actually did that, like.
Well, I mean,
but the thing is that he
didn't. He still hasn't.
Right.
Like this is him doing it.
Right.
What he's deciding now internally. But he has still not made a single fleet movement or action that would be constituted as treason.
Right.
That was based on his orders.
Because even the things that they said were like, he
didn't keep Reinhard safe during this whole thing.
Right. Exactly.
Like he could have done more.
Yeah. It was an absence of doing something, not a presence of doing something.
Right.
So.
It's so exciting. It's so exciting. We have only 110 episodes in this anime.
I know.
And we're on episode 93, which means we have 17 episodes left. And we have a rebellion starting right now.
I can't wait to see the absolute chaos that would come up on Iserlon Fortress if Julian says, no, Ruental, we're getting a constitution into the Empire, or something like that. And
do you think he would be, like, so brazen to actually declare a refusal, directly?
Well, okay. He might be like,
talk with his advisors.
Yeah, talk with his advisors, right.
Like, I think we should refuse ultimately, but we'll say yes, right? Like,
well, say yes, and then...
but really, like... What the best part about this is that Ruental doesn't care really whether they say yes or no.
Oh my god.
Because in a lot of ways what Ruental is doing
shit.
Is he's setting up the future.
Yeah, but think about this. Yeah. Imagine if Julian says yes to Ruental, but he doesn't actually let it happen. Ruental moves his forces to invade the
Fejon,
Empire.
Yeah.
No, not to Fejon, to Iserlon, thinking that he'll get through. To invade the Empire. Right?
Wait.
Julian tells him that
wait. So hold on. No. I think I'm sorry. Your book is called Battle Lines, so think about the way battle lines would naturally form up. Is you'd have the Mittermeier fleet on the west, the left side of the Fejon corridor. You need an equivalent fleet to basically like form you can't just he cannot send all of his ships this way. There's no tactical reason to go to Odin.
No, wait. Well, hold on.
Okay, sorry.
So Reuental has said he doesn't care about new land. He wants the Empire, right? So his whole plan is to go through Iserlohn to get to the old Empire territories and defeat Reinhard. That was pretty clearly said.
But he won't defeat Reinhard by doing that.
Well, wouldn't he?
Am I missing something obvious here?
Like, because he doesn't care about the territories of the new land. If he gives that back over to the previous, what was the Alliance forces, right? And then they take that, and then he takes the Empire space, then yeah, he's defeated Reinhard.
Okay, send a message to Iceland Force and tell them that they control the entire territory.
So
keep talking. I'm listening.
So if Julian tells Reuental, yes, you can come over here, he could draw Reuental's forces. Now, granted, Reuental would leave some by Fejon in order to try and keep a perimeter and all that stuff. Although he might not care if he's planning on giving the territory of the new land to the Empire or to the Iserlohn Republic, right? He might just be like, yeah, take all my forces this way, and just try and go through Iserlohn. And then if Julian refuses him, Reinhard and Mittermeier and everybody would be able to go through Fejon into the new land, right?
They're already in Fejon.
No, right. But the point is that they have the supply line through Fejon, right?
Okay.
Like from all the Empire forces and things like that. And if Julian is able to keep Reuental's forces from actually going through the corridor, or even then, Reinhard, let some of Reinhard's forces go through the corridor, the rebellion could be nipped in the bud, because then Reuental wouldn't be able to defend the new land territories if he dedicated himself fully to offense and then wasn't able to execute the maneuver.
Yeah, it makes no sense for him to do that, though.
But he said he's more interested in the Empire than in, I'm not, even if he left some people behind, if he's going to do an offensive, then that means there will be less forces for him to defend the new land.
I just don't see why he would go through the Iserlohn corridor when he literally would be exposing himself entirely to be backstabbed by the...
He just said, though, that was his plan.
I think you might be conflating
however many forces he sends.
I think you might be conflating the idea that he cares about the Empire and not about the territories. Fejon is a part of the Empire now.
Sure.
It is the capital and seat of the Empire.
Right, but why would you go through the walled area when you can go in the back door? That's the whole point of Iserlohn, right?
It's not fully... The fortresses, I don't think, are fully formed yet.
Okay, but all right.
I must be just...
He said that his intention was to go through Iserlohn. That was very clearly stated.
I thought he was saying to block Reinhard going through there. I thought that was what he did. Am I missing something here?
He said that he was going to use it to let them go into the Empire, and then in exchange, he would give them control over the former Alliance territory.
No, it says they prevent the Imperial fleet's passage through the Iserlohn corridor.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm like, you're not...
Oh, wow, I totally...
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind then.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know where you're getting this from, but...
Huh.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Then that makes things very different.
Yeah. I think he wants to go and just face Reinhard directly. He wants a true, honest-to-God, fleet-on-fleet, big battle.
Okay.
And if Reinhard loses, then he was the one that was fated to rule anyway.
Gotcha.
And he doesn't want to be sneak attacked after, he doesn't want to have to dedicate any forces of seriousness to the Iserlohn corridor.
Yeah, exactly. He wouldn't give them the new land or whatever before the war's over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And also, realistically, you're talking about supply lines. He wouldn't go through Iserlohn if he couldn't guarantee an actual supply line. The only way he could do that is if he conquered Iserlohn, which is something that Julian would never let him
because then they'd lose all bargaining power. Yeah.
He would never let him peacefully... That's the mistake that Fejon made that Julian probably learned from directly by being there physically at that time.
How did I misread that? Damn.
I think you just really wanted it to go that way.
Probably. Yeah. Wow.
But anyway.
Okay.
Y'all, Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yes, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.